Today we're going to do some treatment on our rabbits for ear mites. We have at least one rabbit that has it kind of bad. She's got an infestation, but we want to go ahead and treat all of them if we see any evidence of this mite. Hoppers, this is Simber and you're watching Homesteading at Kooker. Now this is just a recipe that I choose to use for my rabbits at home. I am not a veterinarian. I'm just showing you what I'm doing to mix up to put on my rabbits for the ear mites that they are infested with. And I figured I'd get a few questions if I just showed a picture of me squirting something in their ears and no explanation of what I did for that particular solution. So these are the ingredients that I will be using today. In the past, I have only used olive oil and vitamin E oil, mostly olive oil with a little bit of vitamin E oil, and the vitamin E oil just kind of helps keep hydration on the rabbit's skin as the scabs and stuff are leaving the ears from the ear mite infection. But then I've done a little bit of researching online, and you can also use tea tree oil for its antimicrobial properties, and it's supposed to help soothe in case there are any cuts in the rabbit's ear. And then I'm also planning today to use a few drops of lavender oil and eucalyptus oil for some additional benefits. Now, I am going to use the essential oils in a very low concentration as compared to the proportion of olive oil that I will be using. So olive oil will essentially be like a carrier oil for those other essential oils, because while essential oils can be medicinal, you don't want to overdo it because they are a concentration of the volatile oils from the plants, so they need to be in small amounts. So I just went to Dollar Tree and I purchased a Cheapo Depot spray bottle. Eventually I would like to store this type of solution long term in a glass bottle with a spray nozzle, and I'm hoping to use either an apple cider vinegar bottle, or if I can find an amber bottle that will fit one of the spray nozzles, that would be most ideal, because anything storing oils will keep the oil fresher longer if it's in a dark colored jar as opposed to a clear jar. But this is what we have for today, so this is what we're going to use. So I'm going to take my olive oil, and on this I don't really worry so much about the proportions. I'm just trying to get a significant amount so that it will spray well for me into the rabbit's ears. The olive oil is the main ingredient. The rest of it, I would say, are just additives to this for the varying properties that I'm looking for, or for the scent, or to moisturize the ear, like with the vitamin E. And that's what we will add next, is a little bit of vitamin E oil for that moisturizing benefit. Some recipes may call for half and half, but vitamin E oil is awfully expensive, and the main purpose of this ear mite oil is to essentially suffocate the ear mites that are in the rabbit's ear. The way we know our rabbits have it is we see the evidence of the scabbing that is caused by the mite. The mite is actually a member of the arachnid family. You may have heard of the arachnid family because spiders are members of that family. They are not insects because they have more than 6 legs. But mites and ticks and spiders are all part of the arachnid family. So these mites get into the rabbit's ears, usually through hay or foreign debris that may be introduced into the rabbit's cage. If it's a rabbit in the wild, they might get introduced to mites through the ground and dirt. all of the rabbit breeders that I've talked to about their breeding practices have admitted that ear mites are just part of raising rabbits. So the key is, if you can be preventative, try to do that as much as possible. But more than that, just make sure that you develop some sort of schedule to maintain any problems that might arise with ear mites. So just being aware of the health of your rabbits and then treating them as needed for the ear mites. Now, I have heard of some people using other things off-label. I am trying to stay away from the harsher chemicals and the more expensive products, so this is what I choose to use. If I'm comfortable with using it on me, then I'm more comfortable with using it on our animals. So now I'm going to put a few drops of tea tree oil. And we have tea tree oil on hand because I use it for a solution of homemade wipes that we use for Malachi. And it's just a really good astringent to keep around for cleaning purposes or antiseptic purposes. And please note, this is not a cure-all. If you're able to develop that schedule, that program that we were talking about to stay on top of the maintenance of the ear mites, you might actually be able to eradicate ear mites. But my goal is to keep it under control, not so much to prevent it, because there are just too many vectors of introduction of ear mites to the rabbits. I want my rabbits to have hay, both for nesting purposes and whenever it gets cold, for them to be able to bundle up in a fluff of hay, and also for their dietary needs. So I'm not so worried about 100% preventing ear mites. I just want to make sure that my rabbits aren't suffering because of it, so I want to maintain my rabbits' health by making sure that we take care of any mite issues that arise. Alright, so I'm going to put a couple drops of lavender oil. And again, I'm not using a particular recipe. I'm just creating my own. And then a few drops of eucalyptus oil. I don't want to put too many drops of eucalyptus oil because there's already astringent properties from the tea tree oil. So I think that was about 4 drops. All right, and let me go ahead and add a little bit more olive oil. Smells nice. It's gonna help clear some of my sinuses. Wafting, wafting, wafting. All right, and now I'm just gonna mix it up and put the cap on, and then we will go take care of a few rabbits. Okay, so I've put the lid on, and I did make a little bit of a mess. Again, since these are ingredients that I'm comfortable with using myself on my own skin, I'm just wiping off the excess that's on the bottle and using it as a moisturizer for my hands real quick, because it's wintertime and my hands always get dry. Let's go take care of some rabbits now. In the past, I have used an eyedropper to administer the oil that I use to smother and suffocate the mites, and that's what controls the mite population within the ear of the rabbits. However, I've been told that if you use a spray bottle, it makes it quicker and easier to get it at the rabbits. You're not having to hold the rabbit still as much. You can just kind of squirt it and go. We'll see how it works out. All right, we're going to start with these 3. I haven't seen any mites, but we need to check on to see. Hey, Benders. How are y'all doing? And I'm just trying to open the ear to look down into the cavity. Here, let's pull a bunny out. I'll show an example. You want to come up closer? So I'm looking down into the ear, and she's pretty much clean, but I may just add a few drops just for preventative sake. for prevention's sake. And first I gotta get the oil coming up. It's a brand new bottle. So this is the one that didn't have many mites. Like I didn't really see anything, but I'm just gonna give her a little bit of oil, a couple of drops, just as preventative. Now, as you can imagine, oil feels weird to the rabbit, so they're gonna shake their head. They're not hurting, they're not in pain. It's just, it feels weird to have oil rolling down into your ear. And I want to get it back on the skin, not on the fur, around the edges, just so that it can roll down. And then I lift up the ears so that that oil can roll into the ear canal and coat whatever may be way down deep inside, whatever mites might be in there. And sometimes I'll rub behind the ears. Now granted, I'm not just spraying and going on this one, but in the future, having it in the spray bottle will allow us to be able to just do quick squirts into their ears and go.
Nala, that's not for you.
Well, the cat likes it. And I'm not worried because it's stuff that's not going to harm her. Okay, we're going to call that good, and we'll put her back in the cage. All right, now let's see if we can just get y'all really quick without having to pull y'all out and hold y'all. Just a quick little squirt. It's okay. Let me make sure I got some in that second ear. Hi. Yeah. I know. It feels weird. I know. But it's going to help you out. Now, if your rabbits start shaking their head, that's totally normal. Because again, it feels weird to have oil rolling down into your ear. Alright, here we go. Just quick. Good. Good. And while I'm in here, I see that they've got some hay and food and poop that has matted up, so I'm going to go ahead and get that out because we don't want to leave that in their cage. Good job. Wow, they did really well. Now, Astrid does have some ear mites, and I'll go ahead and show you what they look like when you do have an infestation. You can probably see a little bit of it there. See how it's kind of crusty there on her ear? It looks like a big scab. That's what happens whenever the ear mite is able to proliferate. And I will be honest, we have let it go farther than we should have. So let me go ahead and get her treated so she can get to feeling better. Hey, sweet girl.
Hey Cloud Hoppers, thanks for watching the video. Push the thumbs up to like the video. Also hit that subscribe button, also the bell, so that you can get notifications when our videos come out.
Check us out on our social media pages too. We have Facebook and Pinterest, and soon we'll have Instagram. The links are below. Bye y'all!
Bye! Good job.